Please, ladies and gentlemen, good morning again. Welcome here. This is going to be the closing ceremony. And first of all, before the very final speech, I would like to ask my colleagues who are just notes reflecting the coming conference, so reflection for the next week.
Well, first of all, let me say it's been a pleasure to be here. I'm very glad to be able to come. I want to just say a couple things about my experience here. I think for me, one of the best things of all about conferences is simply meeting people. I mean, I like going to the sessions, but what I really like is just simply meeting people and talking to them about their work and finding out they're interested in what we do. And of course, at this meeting, we've met Czech people and Turkish people, but I also have made acquaintance with somebody from Spain, and Portugal, Greece, Cyprus, Slovenia, Romania, Italy. I might have missed somebody, but it's really been impressive to meet you. Looks like, okay. I thought Oscar was going to correct me.
Also, Slovenia, China, Bangladesh.
Oh, I said Slovenia.
Yeah.
I said it in the session.
Well,
These are the people that I met. I think there may be more, but these are the people that I met. And I really enjoyed some of the talks, like Zainab Alulu gave a very nice talk about the information flow and education administrations. Belena and Selchuk had a nice talk about organizational studies that I appreciated seeing. And Mochjo, which I'm sorry for mispronouncing the name, I thought was a very interesting study on the modeling of motivation of younger and older workers. She's doing statistics that are way beyond me. That's what you get a status, for me, you get a statistician to do those sorts of things. And there was a talk that I caught just at the very end by Mecca on gender and academic seniority, which is very interesting. I'm going to find it in the program to have a look at, because these are issues that we deal with within the United States. I think a meeting like this, and I think the meeting next year in Latvia, is important because they do promote international awareness and they promote cooperation. I just picked out a few examples. One of the talks I heard was on school inspectors. You know, the thing is, we don't have school inspectors in the U.S., and so it's really kind of interesting to hear about a very different organizational model for schooling. The workers, the study of younger and older workers, I keep thinking that most, what country doesn't have businesses and industries and is not concerned about workers and improving productivity and so forth. And so it seemed like such a study could be applicable in a wide number of places. And then coming back to the gender study, this is an ongoing issue in the U.S. as to whether professions provide an equal footing for both men and women in the workplace. You know, the opportunities for funding, the opportunities for advancement is the expression we would say is the playing field even for everybody. So there's lots to talk about. And I could go on to several other examples, but I'm going to yield the floor in a minute. But these are, I think, enough suffice to show how interesting the conference has been. And I certainly hope that next year, and I would expect that next year's conference in Latvia will be even more of a success and even more interesting than what it's been here. So again, I just want to thank everybody for allowing me to come and be a part of the program.
Thank you. I just want to congratulate all the organizers for putting together such a good conference and a very important topic, which I'll say more about in a moment. I think, as Bill has said, coming to a city like Cobern is one of the advantages of such a conference. I've been to the Czech Republic before, but as many Americans are from Prague, I haven't had a chance to visit the countryside. So coming here is very, very important, and learning more about the culture in this region, and so many guests from other countries visit with us is critical. The topic of lifelong learning is kind of interesting. It's where I started my career. I got my degree in cognitive psychology. I studied under the person that took Piaget's chair when Piaget passed away, and my thesis was on cognitive learning in baseball. So I've always looked at learning outside the classroom. I think very little effective learning ever happens in the classroom. I've been a dean of education. I've been in teacher education for decades. And classrooms are not good places. They're not designed for good learning. There are some of us, I should say, that are trying to change how classrooms look like. But most classrooms in the West, and the ones we see at this university, my university, were designed to send people from the countryside into the city to work in factories, to build widgets, to produce. The notion of critical thinking and having people collaborate and learn together, inquiry, is something we haven't adjusted to in formal learning. I do want to say that the topic of lifelong learning means all learning. It does include formal learning, but much learning occurs outside of the classroom, outside of formal learning spaces. I'm in the US, it's a graying population. A country I work with quite often is China, another graying population. I would posit, and there are experts here who would know this better than do I, it's very possible that people, as they retire in their final years and decades of life, will spend more time learning than they did in the classroom when they were younger. So a lot of us look at continuing education experiences, working in museums, going visiting parks. I have the good fortune of working with key organizations in the United States, the U.S. National Parks, Smithsonian Museum, and we look a lot at how it is that people learn in spaces outside the classroom. So the work that you're doing here and knowing that there's going to be another conference is very important to this. I would observe that something that occurs more formally might be something you would consider incorporating very formally in future conferences, and that's the role of socially mediated experiences, and it has to do with devices like this. How many people tweeted or posted or tagged or hashtagged or friended somebody as you experience lifelong learning events? Before the activity, during the activity, and after the activity, we often engage in socially mediated experiences. We friend somebody with all these, I bet you a lot of contacts, you've got email addresses and Twitter accounts and things like that. So we are already beginning to communicate with each other and learn in very special ways. I spoke a little bit about how lifelong learning experiences are being formally shaped by these tools. How some museums, for example, incorporate your mobile device as you go into the museum, and you can tag and you can mediate that experience. So something that we all do informally. I use TripAdvisor. I learn about special places to visit while I'm here. When I go back to Prague, might be a topic that is more formally incorporated in future conferences. I want to end by saying that I was particularly impressed by how many of the talks were delivered by new scholars, students, or newly minted PhDs. I seem to have attended a lot of sessions like that. I met many people, and that's very, very encouraging. I'm very excited to see so many new and young scholars that are looking at this field. And I think for you, because of big graying populations, and it's true in many European countries as well, such as the US and China and Europe, the topic of lifelong learning will be apparent in our societies for many years to come. So I was really excited about how many great presentations I saw by young scholars and how many of you I got to meet. And I congratulate everybody for a great conference and look for many conferences of this quality in the years to come.
Okay, thank you, Professor. Thank you. And as a chairman of the very final session of the conference, I would start with the sort of overview, because as the organizers, we
No, it goes on like this. Yeah, yes. That's better.
Okay, so the organizing committee gave the huge number of abstracts of papers. We had like 450 or 350 participants. And I was a member of the peer reviewing staff, and it was an interesting duty. And I think the outcomes which are going to be published is one of the good results of the conference, of the first conference. This is important because we are going to prepare the second one. And as the beginning, as the start, as the starting point for teachers, for students, I think this is really, really good start. We have to thank all the people who have been involved in the whole year to prepare, to send millions of emails to discuss the smallest topic, and sending emails back and forward because the language, because of whatever, but it worked. Finally we did it. So I think the first conference is over. And let's open the gate for the second conference, which is going to be held in July next year in Palacky. And I hope we'll meet again over there, to be there not only for the discussions, for presentations of papers and scientific results, but maybe more, because we met people, we met colleagues, and sometimes I didn't just think about I talked to someone who is working for the military. I've never been there. And we found some similar topics. So the next week we are going to start. Maybe too enthusiastic, but maybe we'll find something which is related with the motivation and psychosocial areas for a newcoming university students. So I believe that not only the formal settings, doing the workshops and reading papers, behind it, behind the curtains, think people are talking about the topic, having good wine, good time, and it was the goal of the conference, I think. So thank you everyone who participated. Thank you very much everyone who was a member of the staff preparing the conference, and the biggest thank from my side, because I knew just 75% of his job is to Osman, my friend who I know many years. So, and the very final, afterward,
Yes.
we'll meet in front of the building, because Osman will have a photo of all of us on the wall, and every single morning he will point all of us saying, I like him, and others too.
We gave all the presents begging for the conference, but this is, I think, the most important present. This is attendance document to them. Thank you very much, Milon. Potmesil. Thank you very much, Thank you. Maybe the last words, I would like to really thanks to Palacky University, open to us very nice faculty. I enjoyed so much, everything it was fine. Especially, I would like to tell an important things about the city. People were thinking, we will go a small city and we will present our papers and we will return as soon as possible to Prague. everybody would like to see to the Prague. Lots of times, I wrote my participants, you have to see Olomouc. Yes, you know my emails. Also, you have to attend Gala dinner. It is also very unique activity to understand Czech culture, Czech folk dance, and etc. Maybe begging, some of them didn't believe in me. Because Olomouc, small city, maybe they were thinking like that. But after having some times in the city, lots of them said to me, yes, Prague beautiful, but this city is really, really unique to see and to understand culture and history of Czech and Middle Europe. For that, and people said to me, thank you creating this chance to see this but unique city via this conference. Also, these words going from me to Milon, Dean, Rector, Dean, and especially big efforts. Sometimes I know some misunderstanding because our culture is different, but I think if we did a small mistakes, please forgive us. Doing an international project is really hard. I know from my European Union projects as well, but at the end, really, I would like to thank Dr. Wojtek, Dr. Milon, Setmir, and Rector, and also the other partners every time supported us about cultural issues, opened a very nice building. You saw very nice, very modern, very technological building. Also to them I would like to thanks for everything, especially their rector, their director Joseph Tesarik, and also like Wojtek, every time connected with me. I would like to thank Michal Kuloka. If possible, take a photo in front of together like a family to remember this nice university. And then there are some refreshments you can finish.